Hi, I'm going to talk about Module 4, which is Standard 4 of the Teacher Leadership Standard, um, which is going over coaches, mentors, instructional strategies, or monitoring. Um, so, I picked a colleague that was in the same grade level as myself, which is seventh grade. And she is currently teaching co-teach ELA. She has a resource ELA class as well as a co-teach social studies class. Um, she is a special education teacher as well. So we also have a caseload of students. She currently has a caseload of students from our seventh grade level as well as a eighth grade, couple of eighth grade students as well as sixth grade students. Due to, you know, as usual, sometimes the teachers do not stay for the remainder of the year. Therefore, we have different grade levels that we are basically taking care of. So, um, this teacher, she has taught at our school for 5 years. She is no longer a new teacher. She is really considered, she would be considered pretty much, I could say, an expert because it's been 5 years. Um, Within those 5 years, she has been in a couple of different grade levels as well. She is a little older than I. She is a baby boomer. I am considered a Gen X. So it's kind of, a little bit, to me, it's not too much of a difference, a slight difference, but not too much of a difference to me between the baby boomer and the Gen X. So I was thinking about why, again, I chose her because she's in the same grade level. And I know that she's been there 5 years. And over these 5 years, it seems that there has been consistent challenges that she has had with being a special ed teacher, co-teacher, resource teacher, just things along those lines. And I think, or I know that she always needs some type of support. Um, she seems to be very needy. Even though something has been taught, it's like it doesn't really sink in. And this has been over the course of the 5 years. At one point, I know that she was put on a PDP in reference to some of what was going on within her work ethic. However, she did get off. It was just, she was also part of the she went through the program to become a teacher where she did, I forgot what it's called, but she's gone through a few challenges. So that's why I picked her, because again, we're both there. And why not pick her since we're there? We're on the same grade level. We have the same planning. We work together. We go to all professional learning, professional learning and things like that together. So, and I really wanted to support her, and just make things a little bit easier this year, and just in general see if I could be of some assistance. I can say that over the course of the years, the challenges that she has had has been within classroom management. It has also been with content, or the wanting to teach certain content, but classroom management is definitely one. The content of doing the role as the co-teacher as well. Let's see. What else? I know the classroom management, definitely. The context, other context was the weaknesses that I say. I want to make sure, since I have to go back to my notes. I know that running a smooth IEP meeting. I saw that even being that I'm the LEA of some of her meetings, and as LEA, sometimes we do communicate that her IEPs are not run very smoothly. The IEP is not ran smoothly. So, and in addition to that, technology. As I noticed even with myself, technology can be a challenge and it continues to grow. So we have to catch up and be a part of that growing trend in education as an educator, just to be in tune with the students per se. And I find that that is another thing that I found as a challenge for her. So let's see. So our first session was pretty much, I had already kind of like in my head figured the three things out that I knew that she was having trouble with, or that I had saw over the years that seems to be a consistent pattern. And I noticed that the pattern is that she does receive support. She is one that continues to receive support, but it seems like it goes in and then I don't know where it goes, but she will always sign up for support. She's always willing to learn. But it seems like she forgets it, or it goes somewhere and it's always a scramble, or it seems like she's dropping the ball, or she's incompetent to do her job. When she's a teacher, she passed the grades, she has degrees, so I don't know, but at the same time, again, so as the Knowles learning strategies, I wrote down the two that seem to be complementary for her and what is going on with her. And what I said was going on with her would be the motivation. The motivation to learn, and the need to know. It's not that she doesn't, it's like she becomes more motivated when she gets in trouble, or something is lacking, or something that she's forgotten. The motivation seems to pretty much become more notable, or it's more persistent to where she has to, she wants to get it done. She's trying to get it done. So the motivation. So I find that when she's motivated, she's a little bit more. So I say with the motivation, to find things to help her be motivated, find things to help her do those things, and the need to know. You need to know these things because this is part of your job. This is part of the expectations as the teacher and your role within the school. So again, the first session was the breakdown of, she shared some of her concerns, and there was the students, the classroom management, the talking with the parents as well. Classroom management with the students, talking with the parents, technology, and just the overwhelming part of the IEP process, writing the IEP and actually holding that smooth IEP, or holding the annual meetings, or even the amendment meetings, was what we talked about. So like I said, the first session was more of, she shared some of her concerns, or how everything is too much. It's always too much. We have a lot on our plate, which we do, being that, not, in addition to that, we're always being observed, and that was an issue as well, being observed, and that role as the co-teacher to step outside of the box of just monitoring students, but actually teaching, while the regular ed or the general education teacher is behind the scenes, and they're the one that's prompting students, instead of, say for instance, us, as it's more of an equal role. So that was pretty much the first session. The second session was more of me getting into as a case manager, and really talking to her about what the smooth IEP looks like. She was given, or she has a actual handout that was given to us. So that she would go through and how that IEP should be ran, why it should be ran this way, how she should talk. She should take control of the IEP meeting because it's her IEP meeting. And within those IEP meetings, I did assist her because she was within those meetings. Some of the meetings she did have me as the LEA. So I guided her on what questions to ask without it being noticeable and that she did not know or that she might have forgotten. So to help her with those things, to help her along the process, not to be intimidated by the parent or the actual general education teacher that was in the meeting. Again, the IEP is your IEP. The IEP is your student, so you know about the student. So making her to be more assertive in who she is and what she's doing and comfortable with her position and her job. So I also told her she has to build a rapport with the student as well as the parent in order for things sometimes to just run a little bit smoother in these meetings and things of that nature. And the technology was an issue as well. I said technology was in the second session as well. The technology is like an issue because now we're using Teams. We're using Teams, and it seems like she would drop the ball, or it would look as if she had dropped the ball with the technology. So making sure that she would make attempts to meet with the technology. We have someone who comes every Wednesday, but she's met with this person not just this year, but she meets with this person every year or all throughout the year over the course of the last 5 years. So again, I feel that she's motivated because of I don't know if it's the attention or some type of attention that she gets when she, again, is reprimanded in some type of way to where something goes wrong. And the third thing was the classroom management. Classroom management was a significant issue due to the fact that our classrooms are side by side. And when I hear the slamming of doors or I hear yelling, it's not just me that's hearing this yelling. Sometimes the admin comes and intervenes. So we did go through some classroom management strategies. What protocol to take as far as, okay, there has to be certain consequences, there has to be warnings, there has to lead up to the actual referral, or before it seems like you no longer have control of your classroom, because it does. And I noticed that this occurs this has occurred not only in the resource class, but this occurs as well in the special education classroom. I meant the regular or the general ed class. So we do have a discipline matrix, and I shared with her the discipline matrix is there for a reason. So we must use this discipline matrix to help us, to guide us, to keep us within the parameters of what we need to be within, so that students don't take advantage, so that they don't think they have authority over us. Because if it starts out with them thinking that they have the authority, it's very hard for us to gain that authority back. And it's easy because as a parent, if your student comes home or your child comes home and tells you something, it's going to be that wedge between who is telling the truth and who's not telling the truth. And usually the parents are going to believe the student over you. So I just say, as in working with her, and this isn't my first time working with her, I have worked with her again over the course of the years. It's just providing her that extra support, giving her that encouragement for motivating her to want to do what she needs to do, and actually making sure that it happens, and that needing to know, needing to learn it, to make sure that you're doing your part as the teacher, and making you more successful. So again, I picked her because I know that she is in need of the support. We've worked together before, and she's not a a bad person. It's just that things seems to be a little difficult and she's always trying to make it. And I just don't want her to continuously say throughout the school year, I'm just making it. So that is what I came up with. I will see you next time. Thank you.